Where are my Pistons fans at? Come on. Another nail biter. Pistons are up once again by double digits, and they let them come back. And now the Pistons are up by 2 points, struggling for a bucket. John Lure just travels 7:54 to go in the game, 81 to 79 with 7:54 to go in the game. Where are my Pistons fans at? This is crazy. I mean, this isn't supposed to happen. Blake Griffin's having another blast. Blake Griffin's balling out. Nico Mirotic just knocked down three. And now this is the first time that the Pelicans have ever led in this game. 82 to 81. Now the Pelicans are up by 1 point. It's crazy. Blake Griffin's with the ball. He gets double teamed. Reggie Jackson slashes. He passes it to Galloway. He's in the corner. He dribbles to the basket, and he fills it up. He scores. The Pistons up by 1 point. What up, Luke? What up, live baller? What's going on? Man, this is a struggle. What up, Jaden? Jaden, what up, Jaden? I love you, brother. Jaden in the house. Yo, Pistons. Blake Griffin with the rebound. He's bringing the ball up the court. 6:55 to go in the game. 83 to 82. Reggie Jackson shoots a three wide open and makes it 86 to 82 to go in the game. I'm sorry, 86 to 82. Pistons up. 6:30 to go in the game. Pelicans ball. Yo, Pelicans just called a timeout. Jaden, what's going on, brother? You all right? I bet you better be balling out here. You got to be balling out here, Jay. Listen, Luke, I've been thinking about Mike Conley Jr. I've been thinking about it. I've been really thinking about Mike Conley Jr. And Zach Connor. Zach Connor says, oh, wait, Reggie Jackson didn't screw up? No, stop that. Listen, I've been thinking about Mike Conley Jr., but honestly, with his contract, what up, Major Slugger? With Mike Conley Jr., I got to say this, guys, and a lot of people probably won't agree with me on this, and a lot of people probably will agree with me. And maybe people will be mutual or neutral about what I'm about to say right now. Mike Conley Jr., he's a little older now. He's a little established in the league. He's been with one team his whole career. He hasn't made the All-Star team yet. He's starting to be a little bit more injury prone now. And he's a smaller guard. There's no question that the dude can put up points. He's averaging about 20 points right now. I believe he's averaging about 8 assists. I'm just going to say this, guys. Mike Conley Jr., his contract's ridiculous. This dude's making a lot of money. And at one point before the salary cap started going up, Mike Conley Jr. had the highest salary in the NBA until guys started getting paid like Steph Curry, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. Honestly, Mike Conley raised the bar for guys getting paid big time money. And the thing is, Mike Conley Jr. hasn't even made the All-Star team yet. He hasn't even made NBA first team, NBA the all-team NBA team. Like, he's never made any of those. He's just been on a good team that he's been really good at, and he's been overshadowed by a lot of guards like Chris Paul, Tony Parker at one point, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, and the list goes on. Now Jamal Murray. with the Nuggets. So like real talk, Mike Conley Jr. can ball, but understand this, guys. If he was in the Eastern Conference, there's no doubt that he would make the All-Star team. Hands down, Mike Conley would. He's been overshadowed. But the thing is he a little overpaid? Hell yeah. This dude's making a lot of money. Now he's injury prone. And listen, guys, we already have a whole bunch of overpaid players in Detroit. Will Mike Conley Jr. make a difference in Detroit? A slight difference. I think you have a ball-dominant point guard in Mike Conley Jr. who can finally, we'll finally have that point guard who can shoot lights out. And then, yeah, he's an upgrade to Reggie Jackson, I will say, in shooting. But the dude's small. He's 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1", with his hair. And, yeah, he can only check point guards. And if you want to play small ball, he can check shooting guards. Reggie Jackson can check multiple people. He's long. He has long arms. He's somewhat athletic. And he's 6'3". You can't take that away because he has that. Mike Conley Jr., as soon as he loses his athleticism, he would have to only rely on his shooting and his basketball IQ. That's how I look at that. But honestly, is that a smart move, getting an older Mike Conley Jr.? Listen, you would be doing honestly, you guys would be doing Memphis a good job in that. Like you guys would be doing Memphis a favor if we were to trade for him. Because who are we going to trade? Our young assets and Stanley Johnson or Luke Kennard? No, you don't do that. You don't trade young veterans. Reggie just hit a 3 in this game. Yo, 89 to 84, 5 minutes to go in the game. Reggie hit a 3. What's good? We need somebody long-term, Deontay. We need somebody that's very long-term. We don't need somebody that is temporary, maybe a couple years, and next you know we ship off. Mike Conley Jr. is making a lot of money. And you know what? He has a couple more years on his contract. Let's be real. Shabazz Napier is a backup point guard. I would love to get D'Angelo Russell, but now he's balling out now. His value went up. They're not trading him. The Brooklyn Nets have a really good 1-2 punch now, and they're in the 6th seed in the East right now. Literally they're a 6th seed, and they have a really good 2-way punch with Spencer Dinwiddie and D'Angelo Russell. Why mess that up? I wouldn't as a GM. I'm not going to mess that up. 2 young guards that's putting up baller money. Blake Griffin just hit a 3. 92 to 86, 356 to go in the game. The Pistons need this win, guys. Pistons desperately need this win. I'm not comparing anybody to Reggie. What's that? Jermaine Davis. I'm not comparing anybody to Reggie at all. I'm really giving you like the basketball insight on like what other people think. You know what I mean? Like, you want to think about long term, or do you want to have a temporary like point guard? Mike Conley would be a temporary point guard because now he's older now. Blake Griffin is a temporary power forward now. And listen, by far, Blake Griffin's playing honestly the best basketball of his career. He's shooting lights out. He's playing bully ball. He's inside outside in his game. He's got his handles. Blake Griffin just shot a 3, missed it. 92 to 86, fast break. The Pistons ends up fouling. 3:24 to go in the game. 92 to 86. Just to go back though, just give you some basketball insight, guys. Give you some basketball insight. Like, do you want to rent somebody, or do you want somebody long term? You want to because honestly, you draft somebody and then after that, a year, they're ready to play. So you draft a guy just like Dame Lillard, just like Chris Paul, who's ready, just like Dwayne Wade after the first year was ready to play. Dwayne Wade was ready to play his first year. So you just never know. Like, if you get lucky in the draft and you draft the right player, yo, You don't need to get a guy Mike Conley Jr. when you can have a guy out in the draft and then you draft him for free and then you end up having him for 8 years. But with Mike Conley, you end up having him for what, 2-3 years? You know what I'm saying? So you got to think logical when it comes to like, hey, what is it going to cost you to grab a player in Mike Conley Jr.? You get rid of all of your assets. Wait, just to make the 8th, 7th spot in the East? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the Pistons right now in the situation that they're in, they have they're at 20. They've won 20 games in the East, and they're the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference. Okay, I'm just giving you guys logical thinking. They're the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference. They go on a 3 or 4 game win streak. They're right back in it. So if you just say, "Hey, look, we need the Pistons to tank," they're not going to get a top 5 draft pick. They're not. If the Pistons like stay consistent and somewhat inconsistent in how they're playing right now, let's just say they make the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. You ready for this? They'll still get a good draft pick because they have a bad record. Okay? But the Pistons are under 500, under like 4 games under 500. So understand, guys, like the Pistons right now, like they could lose a whole bunch of games, but because the East is so bad, they could still make the playoffs. And I will tell you this, guys. Guess who just got put out for the whole season due to an injury? Victor Oladipo for the Indiana Pacers just got put out for the whole season with a knee injury, ruined his knee. Now, guess what that means? That means the Indiana Pacers might possibly drop because they just lost their star caliber player who can close games out. So guess what? That just opened up more room for the Pistons to possibly do what they do and try to make the playoffs. You know? Just saying, guys. And listen, this playoff is so deep. This playoff is so the draft is so deep when it comes to talent. So, like, if the Pistons make the playoffs, they'll still get a great draft pick. They really will. Just imagine this, guys. Look at last year's draft. Look at last year's draft. The Pistons in the second round end up picking Bruce Brown and Kyrie Thomas, 2 guys that should have went in the first round. The year before that, the Pistons drafted Luke Kennard, and obviously they passed up on Donovan Mitchell. You know how deep that draft was? Donovan Mitchell went after the top 10. Donovan Mitchell went after the top 10. And look what happens. He goes to a Utah team, and he's the star player of that team. So understand this, guys. Yeah, the Pistons make the 8th spot. They make the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference, while the Western Conference is dominating the whole NBA, and they're winning basketball games, trying to make the playoffs. And let's just say the 10th seed and the 11th seed have the best record, better record than guys that are making the 8th, 7th, and 6th spot in the Eastern Conference. That's going to happen big time. Trust me on that. Yo, it's the Pelicans ball, 87-92, 3:19 to go in the game. We're watching the game right now. All right. Pistons get a steal. Blake Griffin with the ball. He's bringing the ball down. Reggie Jackson on the side. He gets the ball. Reggie Jackson at the top of the key. He dribble handles. Blake Griffin with the pick. Pick and roll. Reggie Bullock gets the ball. Blake Griffin gets it. Blake Griffin scores. 94-87, 2:40 to go in the game. Nah, you can't fire an owner. You can't fire an owner. That's impossible. You can't. You know what? It's hard to break a team up when a lot of the players have bad contracts, Fred. So understand that, like, because when Sam Van Gundy came in and they tried to build a team and they tried to make a playoff run, they tried to overpay players to come to Detroit so that they could try to make a playoff run to try to make a mark in the playoffs, and it didn't work out. James Harden dropped 62? That's crazy. That's crazy. James Harden dropped 62 in this game? Wow. Listen, I personally think that Andre Drummond can play right now. This is my mind. This is my mind frame. This is what I'm thinking. I think Andre Drummond could have played in this game right now. A concussion doesn't take fucking 2 weeks. I think he could have played a week and a half. I think Andre Drummond could have played, and maybe they're trying to shop him before the All-Star break. Honestly, this is what I'm thinking right now. I honestly, he could have played in this game. Blake Griffin, now all the points can go to Blake Griffin. 94-87. The Pistons get the ball back. 1:56 to go in the game. 94-87. Blake Griffin shoots the ball. He misses, but I think Langston Galloway got fouled on trying to get a rebound. Yes, he did. Pistons ball now. Listen, guys. Zaza's been doing all the dirty work. Zaza don't get a lot of credit. Honestly, guys, Zaza don't get the credit that he deserves. Okay, he really doesn't. I think Zaza Pachulia, Langston Galloway with a three, he misses. Pistons get the ball back again. Another offensive rebound. Reggie Jackson, he pump fakes, he goes to the rack. He gets fouled. He's going to the line. 94-87. 132 to go in the game. The Pistons have taken control of this game. That's what we like to see, guys. Finally, the Pistons, they dominate a whole game. We haven't seen that in a while. And listen, this is the second time that the Pistons have played the Pelicans, obviously on the road. They're at New Orleans. And the Pistons dominate a game. Now, I will say this, guys. Anthony Davis isn't playing in this game. Obviously, there's no excuses. So I'm not going to, sit up here and be like, by the way, Reggie Jackson has 17 points in this game for all y'all Reggie Jackson haters. But, I'm not going to, sit up here and hate. The Pistons have dominated this game. They let the Pelicans come back, and now they're taking off. The Pelicans just called a timeout. 1:30 to go in the game. 95-87 to go in the game. Pelicans call a timeout. Usually the Pistons do lose to the Pelicans, but it's because of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis puts the hammer down and will dominate. And since he isn't playing in this game, I guess Blake Griffin's going to come up and take over. Listen, if the Pistons were to try to trade Forbes, I don't think Forbes would try to me personally, I think Forbes trade bait. Forbes is trade bait. I think Forbes works in that system because of how they conduct their offense. That's why they work in that system. You put Forbes on another team, I don't think Forbes can be successful. Give him a year or maybe 2 years, because you have to be able to create in the NBA. Forbes doesn't create a lot of shots for himself. He comes off screens. He shoots open shots. You got guys like Rudy Gay over there, and you got guys like LaMarcus Aldridge who, hey, they cause a lot of attention. And Forbes is right there to capitalize on it. And you know what? You have to be able to capitalize in the NBA if you're going to be on the floor, hands down. You know what I mean? So I honestly think that with the roster that the Pistons have right now, listen, he won't be an asset. He won't be somewhat successful with the Pistons like he is with the San Antonio Spurs. Bam. Yo, Reggie Bullock misses a three. A minute to go in the game, 95-89. Holiday scored in the last possession. Yo, Pelicans just hit a three in this game. It's 95-92. 52 seconds to go in this game, guys. 52 seconds to go in this game. 43 seconds. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Reggie Jackson dribbles the ball. Picked by Blake Griffin. Reggie Jackson drives to the hole. Passes it to Bruce Brown. Blake Griffin has the ball. He shoots it. Misses. Uh-oh. Pelicans down by 3. Pelicans got the ball. Holiday has the ball. They shoot a 3. They misses. Pelicans get the ball back. Reggie Bullock with the steal. Slam dunk. Slam dunk. 97-92. The Pistons score. Pelicans with a timeout. 14 seconds to go in the game. Wow. Reggie Bullock comes through. Reggie Bullock comes through. Wow. Yo, I got something to tell you guys. Everybody that's listening, I see 18 people listening right now. I got something to tell you guys. So I read a report, a report on about Reggie Bullock today. And apparently the 76ers were somewhat interested in Reggie Bullock because they want to add more shooting to their roster. Now, Reggie Bullock will come off the bench because obviously he's not going to start over guys like J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler. But Reggie Bullock, yeah, Craig, Reggie Bullock's balling out in this game. But Reggie Bullock, who's a great role player who can fill in and start, obviously he's doing that with the Pistons right now. The Sixers are interested. Do you think that Sixers could, hey, if they're desperate, because they have a really good record, hey, you want a guy like Reggie Bullock who provides shooting? Hey, give us that first-round draft pick. Then it would be a late first-round draft pick. But, yo, give us a first-round draft pick, and we'll give you Reggie Bullock. Yo, game just started. 8 seconds to go in the game. Pistons just fouled on the rebound. Whoa, I apologize. Pistons didn't foul. Holiday fouled on getting a rebound on the three-point shot. Pistons ball with 8 seconds to go in the game. With 8 seconds to go in the game, guys. Where my Pistons fans at? Where my Pistons fans at? Bruce Brown knocks down free throws, 98-92. 7 seconds to go in the game. Pelicans score real quick. 3 seconds to go in the game. The game is over. Pelicans don't foul. And the game is over. Pistons win 98-94. This was a great game. The Pistons won away. With the New Orleans Pelicans. Yo, we don't win too many we don't win too many away games. This was a great win for the Pistons. And this may put them, maybe give them a little bit more momentum in a hunt to obviously trying to make the playoffs. Blake Griffin had a monster game. I believe he had like 30-some points in this game. Had 20 points in the first quarter. Okay. Craig, JJ, they ain't not trading JJ Redick. JJ Redick is averaging about 17 points? No, that's not happening. I apologize, but that's not happening. So, yeah. So, What's going on, guys? So, who out there? What up, Nomus? How you doing, bro? You missed out on the Pistons game. You could have came with me to a Pistons game. Free ticket, bro. What's good? By the way, guys, I dibble and dabble with the Pistons. I have a partnership with the Pistons. So if anybody wants tickets to a Pistons game, add me on Instagram and I'll hook you up. Add me on Instagram and I will hook you up with a Pistons ticket. Cheap tickets, by the way. I have a partnership. I have my own promo code. It's called Sports World. So, obviously, if you add me on Instagram, you can click the link on my bio and then enter in on the Pistons website, Sports World, and then you'll get a discount on the Piston ticket. Anyway, the Pistons win this game, and it was a desperate win. This was a well-needed game. Blake Griffin continues to ball out, and also the Pistons win without Andre Drummond. Do you think the Pistons should trade Andre Drummond? I don't want to see Andre Drummond traded, but, and I say but because does it matter if the Pistons, and somebody just commented on the video, Reggie Jackson had 18 points in this game. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Reggie Jackson had 18 points in this game. But Andre Drummond, would it matter if you keep him or would it matter if you were to trade him? Would it matter? Blake Griffin has changed the game. He's dominating. He's a ball-dominant person. Do you need Andre Drummond? I love Andre Drummond. I don't want to see him go because it's not his fault. You need to add more talent around Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. And how do you do that? You do that through the draft. You do that through free agency. But how can you do it when you have an overpaid team that obviously you have a lot of players on your team that are overpaid and you can't bring people to Detroit? You can't. You can't bring people to Detroit. So what do? You trade people. You trade your assets to try to try to acquire assets. You try to acquire more talent. Yo, what will happen? Honestly, guys, like me personally, I don't want to see. What up, Rom? I appreciate you. Me personally, like, I don't want to see Andre Drummond go. I really don't. Because he's such an important piece to the Pistons. He sacrificed so much. How many people you know wow. Reggie Jackson's ruined Blake Griffin's interview right now. I just this is a side note. But how many people you know? How many people you know, seriously? Like, Blake Griffin is just dominating the Pistons right now. He's taking over. He's healthy. He's playing a lot of smart basketball. He's not jumping up and dunking on everybody. He's a different Blake Griffin now. He's a different basketball player. He's a leader. He's shooting the ball. He's dominating the ball. Hey, you demand the ball. Yo, and I will say this. He's also wearing the 2-3 on his jersey, which means he is a fan of Michael Jordan. He wears the 2-3 like he's Michael Jordan. And he's a power forward. And he's dominating the game right now. He's an all-star. So do you have two talented players, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, and you need talent, and the rest of your players are role players in your team? That's a question for you guys. That's a question for you guys. What's up? What's up? Like, I don't want to see Andre Drummond gone. I don't want to see him. But listen, if you keep him, you better be able to do something damn near next year. You better be able to do something damn near next season to bring talent to Detroit. Because if you don't, fans are going to be even more frustrated. And listen, the only thing that we can do, guys, is voice our opinion. That's it. We're not GMs. We're not presidents of the organization. So the only thing that we can do is voice our opinion. on what's going on with the Detroit Pistons organization. That's the only thing that we can do. Everybody in the comment section, everybody that follows me, you guys are entitled to your own opinion. And I'm entitled to my own opinion as well. But like, obviously have the Pistons been making smart moves? No, they haven't. We know that. We know they haven't been making smart moves. But it's time for a change. The Pistons haven't made the playoffs in the past 2 or 3 years. And that doesn't happen with a successful organization that has 3 rings. 2 rings by the Bad Boys and 1 ring by a team who was counted out against the Lakers that beat the Lakers 4-1. Damn near swept them. 03-04 season. So what do we do? I mean, let me be honest with you. Detroit is a successful organization. They really are. A hardworking city, a city that never gives up, a city that's very passionate about their sports. What do you want to do? What should the Pistons do with with what's going on? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Detroit's not one of the worst franchises in the NBA. They're not. They're not. Because before the Milwaukee Bucks got Oladipo. I'm sorry, not Oladipo. Antetokounmpo. I apologize. The Greek Freak. They were a sorry organization because of their market, more so. Nobody wants to play in Milwaukee. Because LeBron James got drafted by Cleveland. Cleveland was a sorry organization because nobody wants to play in Cleveland. Okay? I will keep going. I can keep going. Minnesota. Nobody wants to live and work in Minnesota. So because Minnesota built their team and now they have assets in Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Obviously, they have Covington now because of the Jimmy Butler trade. They have a good team over there. If it wasn't for that, they would be a sorry organization. And you know what? They're still a struggling organization because they are in the West. Another situation. The Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets used to be what? The Hornets used to be a lot of teams. Like the Hornets were their name changed a couple times. And because they're in North Carolina, don't get me wrong, North Carolina is a beautiful state. Is it Miami? Is it LA? Is it New York? No, it's not. So because they're in North Carolina, they're a struggling franchise. They really are. So understand, guys, like when you become established in the NBA, if you're a player in the NBA and you become a star player and you're an established player, understand this. You're going to go wherever it is you want to go. That's what Golden State, Golden State was a sorry organization that had sorry management, but they finally got it right. They're in California. It's sad that Sacramento has struggled the way that they've struggled. They're in California. How do they struggle and they're in California and you're Sacramento? That's bad management. I promise you that. Bad management. So understand this, guys. Detroit, hardworking city, just like New York, just like Chicago, just like Atlanta. And guess what? Atlanta's a struggling organization, Atlanta Hawks. But once again, Atlanta has had bad management. And don't get me wrong, where's Georgia at? Atlanta's right by Miami, right by Florida. Why is Orlando a struggling team? Orlando's right by Miami. Orlando's a family city. Nobody wants to play for Orlando because Orlando's a family-oriented city, tourist city. It's not LA. It's not New York. It's not Miami. Boston. very traditional city. Boston's an amazing city. You can live in Boston. Not only that, but in traditional times, they've been successful because they've been smart with their management. The New England Patriots, the Boston Red Sox. I can keep going. They are successful for a reason. Yo, the Detroit Pistons aren't far away from those cities. They're not. It's about management. The team that the management have put together have not done a great job. And I say that all in all because they haven't. Joe Dumars, me personally, feel like he got lucky because how the hell do you bring Chauncey Billups, who's never been a star player on the team until he got to Detroit? How the hell do you bring Richard Hamilton in a trade for Jerry Stackhouse, who's never been a star until he got to Detroit? Rasheed Wallace was a star with the Blazers. He was just a hothead. Ben Wallace, when you traded Grant Hill for Ben Wallace in a draft pick, never had Ben Wallace have been a successful basketball player until he came to Detroit. Okay? Tayshaun Prince, who you draft late in a round. He pans out to be one of the better defensive players in the league. And then when he puts up more than 20 points, you almost guarantee you will win. So understand this, guys. Joe Dumars, when he put that team together, he got lucky. Never once has Joe Dumars have drafted well. He's been with Detroit for a long time. But every time that he drafted players, he drafted Andre Drummond. He drafted Chris Middleton. He drafted Greg Monroe. I can keep going. Rodney Stuckey, gone. Chris Middleton, gone. Aaron Aflalo, gone. Bad management. Bad management. I'm telling y'all what I know. The team that he put together, along with a really great coach, we didn't need Larry Brown. Larry Brown was a great coach. Great coach. But just like Steve Kerr benefited from Mark Jackson putting the team together. Rick Carlisle was there, who put a team together, who manages a team who could have kept coaching and won a championship if he would have stayed in Detroit and not Larry Brown coming to Detroit. I will say that personally. I will not take anything from Larry Brown. Larry Brown was the godfather. But you put that type of team together, who at the time, it was unheard of for 6'3" point guards. It was unheard of for J.J. Redick type players like Richard Hamilton coming off screens, shooting 15-footers and making them automatically guaranteed points. And then you get a steal in Rasheed Wallace? You get a steal in Rasheed Wallace? Yo, I will keep going when it comes to this type of stuff. I'm telling y'all what I know. And then Big Ben, one of the hardest working, strongest weight room guys in the league, at 6'9", playing center. You get lucky. You put a team together, and then, hey, they had the ultimate bench. They had guys like Lindsey Hunter, guys like Mehmet Okur coming off the bench, who were star caliber players coming off the bench, who could have went on other teams and could have started. Okay? So during that time, the Pistons, when it led up to that championship, they kept making the playoffs. You fire Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle ends up winning the championship with the Dallas Mavericks. That just tells you what type of coach he was. Hey, Rick Carlisle did a really good job with Rick Carlisle did a really good job with the Indiana Pacers. I'm telling y'all what I know, man. Really, it's sad, but Joe Dumars, after the 03-04 championship, did not do a good job managing the Detroit Pistons. There's no question that, you know what? He rushed a lot of things because his job was on the line. Very much so, his job was on the line. But all in all, like, he messed up the Detroit Pistons. And then after him, when the Stan Van Gundy era came, Stan Van Gundy messed up the Pistons too. Stan Van Gundy was trying to fight for his job. He did a good job with acquiring Marcus Morris. He did a good job with acquiring Tobias Harris for nothing. Yo, that's when the Pistons had a little bit of assets. You give a second-round pick for Marcus Morris and Reggie Bullock and Danny Granger, all for a second-round pick. Think about that. A second-round pick. You shed that much salary. You bring Marcus Morris. Your downfall was trading Marcus Morris for Avery Bradley when you didn't have to. Now look at Marcus Morris now, averaging over 15 points a game with the Boston Celtics, balling out. One of the X factors on that team, and he starts. Check this out. You trade Tobias Harris, Boban, and you trade Avery Bradley for one player. You trade all your assets for one player, and look what happens. You still don't make the playoffs. The Pistons have messed up every time. You didn't have to do that. Now just imagine, guys, if we would have kept Avery Bradley, and then you get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie for nothing. I will say that as a side note. You get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie for nothing. But I will say this. All in all, if you don't make that Blake Griffin trade, you have Avery Bradley, you have Tobias Harris, you have Boban, and you have a first-round pick. You keep all of that. And guess what, guys? You guys complain about Reggie Jackson all the fucking time. You complain about Reggie Jackson all the time. But I'm going to tell you something. If the Pistons don't trade their first-round pick, which was a lottery pick because they sucked last year, they would have had a lottery pick. And guess what? They would have had Alexander, who played with University of Kentucky, who got drafted by the LA Clippers. And now he starts for the LA Clippers, who's a 6'6" point guard. Balling out. The Pistons would have had that as a lottery pick. Or they would have had Miles Bridges. And some of y'all wouldn't be complaining about Stanley Johnson. So check this out. That's bad management. And then guess what? Because LeBron left the East, the Pistons would so much more be competing for a playoff spot instead of trying to make the playoffs. I tell y'all what I know. This is legit. It's the bad management that the Pistons have conducted that's led to where they are now. No management at all. No talent at all. Because you trade away all your assets. And because you're overpaid, and because you have so many overpaid athletes on your team already, guess what? You can't bring players to Detroit. And that's why you have guys like Zaza Pachulia, who's 34 years old. And that's why you have guys like Jose Calderon, who's 33, 34 years old, playing for your organization because that's all you can afford because nobody wants to come play for Detroit. Where y'all at? Detroit Pistons. Just went on a rant. Where my Detroit Pistons fans at? What y'all got to say about what I just said? Y'all listening? What's good? Where the comments at? Jose 37. Damn. DW 16. Facts. Yes. Thank you. Where y'all at? What y'all got to say? Jackson for Lou Williams won't happen. He's too clutch in the fourth quarter, Jaden. Silky Slim, thank you. I appreciate it. Where y'all at, man? I mean, I preach facts. You know? We could have had Michael Porter Jr. Excuse my French. Terrell Beavers. We could have had Michael Porter Jr. Yes. A 6'10" guy who could put up points, and he hasn't even played yet. You're right. Lions do need good receivers, Dr. Foe. Xavier, Detroit curse. I don't want to say Detroit curse, but it's definitely bad management. Bad management from the Tigers, bad management from the Red Wings, bad management from the Pistons. Obviously, the Lions are on the come up. You're right. Terrell Beavers. Michael Porter Jr. draft stock went all the way down. We could have had Michael Porter Jr.'s. You're right. I totally agree. Fu. My bad, Dr. Fu. My bad, Dr. Fu. Yeah, you're right. Where y'all at? I mean, I speak nothing but facts. I speak nothing but facts. Hands down. It is time for a rebuild, but at the same time, you want to make the playoffs, so you can't just rebuild off that. You know what I mean? You got to rebuild on what you have. You have to. The Pistons need to build on what they have. The only assets that they have is Jaden. That's the only asset they have is Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin. So with that being said, you can only build off what you have. Nobody wants anybody on their team unless they have potential. The two guys that have potential on our team, three guys that have potential on our team is Luke Kennard, Stanley Johnson, and Bruce Brown. All three guys are young, and they have potential. You're right. The Wizards and the Grizzlies are in a similar situation. And the Charlotte Hornets are in the situation too. Charlotte Hornets are in that similar situation as well. Ram Sullivan, you say we need a good point guard to run the team, but I feel like point guard is the least of their problems. Like the Pistons have so many holes. Like Reggie could play the point, but he doesn't play the point enough because Blake Griffin's a ball dominant player that they have Blake Griffin bringing up the ball now, or they have Bruce Brown bringing up the ball. So a lot of times you have Reggie Jackson playing shooting guard and he doesn't even see the touch. So how can you have a point guard who can distribute or play point? That's what's going on right now. Unless you get a ball dominant point guard. You know what? A couple years ago, I was saying when Derrick Rose was going through his issues, his injury issues, and he was bouncing around from team to team, I was like, why don't the Pistons, pick up, why don't the Pistons pick up Derrick Rose? And that never happened because he was injury prone. A lot of teams didn't want him. He was almost shunned from the league until Tom Thibodeau came back into the league, became the president and the coach for Minnesota Timberwolves and got him back in the league. And now look what he's doing. He's averaging 25 points a game. Crazy. Xavier, I disagree with you on that. Casey had more than two players in Toronto. He had ultimate role players in Toronto like Valanciunas, Corey Joseph, who was the backup point guard at one point. They had multiple good role players in Toronto. Van Fleet now. Developing really good talent. Dwayne Casey had more than just Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. I have to disagree with you on that. I really do. They had a team, a really good team that could have competed. It's just LeBron dominated the East. And every time LeBron faced the Toronto Raptors, they beat him. I mean, any team that LeBron faces, he puts his mind to it, he's beating. So honestly, guys, like it really doesn't surprise me. It's LeBron. Ingram is going to cost a lot of money. They want a lottery pick for him. Honestly, Ingram's worth a lottery pick. He has a lot of potential, and he can ball, and he's young. So That's not going to happen, Jaden. Oh, for sure. I feel like Greg Popovich is a mastermind and he develops talent, but Pop can't be in the Greg Popovich can't be in Dwayne Casey's situation because Greg Popovich has developed his team for years. He's also the president of that team. So he also is conducting trades. And he's like, hey, you know what? This player I want, this player I don't want. Like Greg Popovich and Dwayne Casey has two different roles. Greg Popovich is an ambassador for the NBA and for the USA team. So Greg Popovich, yeah, that dude, he knows who to bring to his team and who he wants. Dwayne Casey doesn't have that role in who he wants. He may have a suggestion, but Greg Popovich has way more power than Dwayne Casey. Let's be real. Matt, I'm with you. Pistons should sell, but they have nothing to sell. So, I mean, at least the Detroit Tigers had something to sell, even though they got nothing, right? Malik Monk, no, he hasn't panned out either. You want another Stanley Johnson on your team, DW16? You want another Stanley Johnson on your team? That's not going to happen. Stanley Johnson and Malik Monk, they're pretty similar, and Malik Monk is a lot smaller shooting guard who's about 6'3", arguably 6'2". He's a small person. That's not going to happen. Colin Sexton is one of the future point guards in with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jaden, that will never happen. He's going to stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a long time. Pin Bob Sponge, I'm with you on Terry Rozier, but that will never happen because they are. Why would they make a trade if they don't need to? If they're the top two team in the East, Boston Celtics, Terry Rozier, and obviously who I obviously would love a trade in Terry Rozier and you bring Aaron Baines back. I quoted a trade for Andre Drummond, Terry Rozier, and Aaron Baines. Me personally, I would make that move because me personally, Terry Rozier is a star caliber player, but he's overshadowed by Kyrie Irving. I think Terry Rozier could be a two-way player, but right now, why would they make a trade? If they make that trade, they may get more for him. I don't think the Pistons have it. Marcus Smart would be a guy I would target, not Terry Rozier more so. I would love Terry Rozier, but Marcus Smart would be a guy that I would target. Point guard is a little bit deep in this draft right now. Randall, just to answer your question, there's a guard out right now from Murray State who might go top 5. He might go top 7. He's doing a lot of he's making a lot of noise. He may go top 5. He may go top 7. I don't know. And there's a guy, a point guard from Vanderbilt who's out for the season, who was listed as a top 5 pick who, because of his injury, may drop. I think the Pistons should go after him. You just never know. Honestly, you never know. Jaden, to answer your question, Robinson or Ferguson, no, I would never go after those guys. They're role players right now. They're not doing anything. Reggie Bullock is the same caliber player as Ferguson. And Andre Robinson, a lot of defense, but he's very inconsistent in his scoring. Salary cap is near the top 5 in the NBA, Xavier. So if you look at all the salary cap in the NBA right now, the Pistons are top 5 in the NBA right now. They can't make any moves. They can't. They have to wait out their salary cap. They got to wait out their contracts and get rid of players because teams don't want their players unless they're on a 1-year their last year deal, and then it'll free up cap space for them. All right, guys, I'm about to get up out of here. Appreciate you guys looking out. You know what? I don't like just to give you a little bit of insight on Ryan Stewart, Carmelo Anthony to Peace Pen, Carmelo Anthony to the Lakers. That's happening because of what? Who? LeBron James. I think Carmelo Anthony has a little bit left in the tank. I think Carmelo Anthony is a bench player now that he has lost his athleticism. But I don't think that Carmelo Anthony should be a Laker. I think he should be on a team where he can contribute more because I think he can offer more. That's just me. So, but Carmelo Anthony to the Lakers, I think that he'll be taking a lot of time away from a guy who I like right now in Beasley. Beasley is a baller. He just didn't get minutes because of the young guys. But Beasley should be on another team and he could start. Beasley could easily start, in my opinion. So I'm out, guys. If you're looking at this video for the first time, subscribe. Also, add me on Instagram. DM me and talk to me about sports. I will DM you back. My Instagram is Detroit Sports World. Jaden, have a good night. Go to sleep. Detroit Sports World on Instagram. Detroit Sports World on Facebook, and also DET Sports World on Twitter. I'm out. Peace. Later.